This is a tutorial for the fully functional 3x4x5 by Mf8. And if you notice, the only sides that can turn 90 degrees and still turn others is the white and the yellow side, because they have one centerpiece. The others don't, so you can't really do that. So I'm going to mix it first. And to mix it, try to keep its shape when you mix it first and then change the shape. If you try to change shape first, you can't mix up these pieces that well. Okay, now try to change shape a bit. Okay, so it's pretty well mixed now. And the first thing to do is to solve its shape. So what you want to do is to make sure that the yellow and white is on the top and bottom. And then from there you want to get the inner two layers first. So to do that, you have to solve it like a 3x3x2 or 3x3x4 using the algorithms where you flip the corners or flip the centerpieces. The edge pieces, I mean. And in this puzzle, the way it moves, as long as you keep the white and yellow on top and bottom, these two will be one corner piece. One of these or two of these like this will be an edge piece together. So, I'm going to look over here, and these two corner pieces are already good enough. And the same goes for these two. So I'm going to leave these two like this, and if I swap these two, then it should get the corners all in the correct shape. So to do that, I need to keep both of these pieces onto the right side, the two corners that I'm going to flip. And I'm going to do R2, U, R2, U inverted, R2, F2, U inverted, F2, D, R2. And that gets all the corners. And as you can see, there's these two left. If I swap these two edge pieces, this one actually is worth two pieces, so it'll stick out perfectly here. And this one is one away from the center, so it'll come level with the pieces around it if it moves over to here. Blue and red. So I'm going to have one piece in front, the other piece on the right. Now the algorithm for this is R2, U, R2, U, R2, 2U, R2, 2U, R2, U, R2, U inverted, R2. And that's all the shape of the first layer. So now I'm going to do the same with the next inner layer. And I'm looking at this, and these two are solved relative to each other, and as well as this one. But this time I want to keep this one still, and I'm going to swap these two. It actually really doesn't matter which one you decide to do, but I'm just going with that one for now. So I'm going to swap these two, and then you should get the corners into the correct shape again. Make sure you keep them both on the right. R2, U, R2, U inverted, R2, F2, U inverted, F2, D, and R2. Now that gets the corners. And again, like before, you have these two edge pieces. Swap these two and it should make the normal shape. One in front, one on the right. R2, U, R2, U, R2, 2U, R2, 2U, R2, U, R2, U inverted, R2. And that's all the shape. Okay, now I'll go over to here for now, because the corners actually solved themselves while I was solving these. So now the only thing left to do here is to swap these two pieces. These edge pieces, because this one is 2 away from the center. So if you bring this one over here, it'll match perfectly. This one is 1 away from the center. If you bring that over here, it'll match perfectly. So I'm going to swap these two, one in front, one on the right. And when I say U, it's going to mean only the top layer now. So R2, U, R2, U, R2, 2U, R2, 2U, R2, U, R2, U inverted, R2. That gets this one solved. Now looking at this one, I can either swap these two or swap these two. I'll swap these two. So I'm going to have these two on the right. This one turns over here. This one will turn over here. And it'll make a perfect rectangle in terms of corners. So R2, U, R2, U inverted, R2, F2, U inverted, F2, D, just the bottom layer now, and R2. Now I just have to swap these two, same thing as before, one in front, one on the right. R2, U, R2, U, R2, 2U, R2, 2U, R2, U, R2, U inverted, and R2, but in this case it really doesn't matter. So now you have the shape completed.